Hi everyone. As you can see, Steve and I are out on the V-Star. What you might not know is that we're in North Carolina. We're at my home up here in Stanfield, and we're going to take a little ride. I'm going to go to a meeting of the Flying Club and in Mount Pleasant, North Carolina. So a nice little ride. Thought Steve would go along with me. And since Steve's along, he thought he might share a little bit more about Sloth Wisdom from the book of Sloth Wisdom. And Steve doesn't want to overload everybody with the tales of the sloth. Not everybody can live the lifestyle of a sloth. Steve admittedly is a lucky guy, and he's trying to train me so that I can be a lucky guy like he is. But just to get started with it, just a few more little things to consider. The first little bit of wisdom that we want to share today from the book is from a gentleman named Mahatma Gandhi. Anybody ever heard of Mahatma Gandhi? Yep, that's the guy. He a very famous individual, and his bit of sloth wisdom was, there's more to life than simply increasing its speed. And I guess what he was trying to say was that just because you get more done in a day doesn't make it more of a life. And that I would say it goes along with things like ride your own ride, and do what you want to do, work at your own pace, find something that's comfortable for you. In the business I was in sales, you didn't really have much control over the pace. I mean, sometimes you'd have one customer in 10 minutes, and the next hour you'd have 10 people waiting to be waited on. And you'd have to spend 30 minutes with that first customer. You never knew what was going to happen. And so half the time we were bored and hardly moving at all, and the other time we were running wide open. And I'm sure some of you have jobs like that. It'd be nice to have a job where you knew what you had to do, you could work at a nice pace at it and get it done. And but that was generally not the case with the jobs I had. So anyway, like I said, Steve and I are out riding around, and we're just having a good time, and try to share a little wisdom. Do one more. I like to try to do two each time we do this, to give you a couple things to think about. And the second one is by a gentleman named Mason Cooley. Now, I don't know who Mason Cooley is. I don't think he invented the cooler, but you never know. Maybe he's the Cooley Dam guy. I don't know. But he said, and I so agree with this because this happens to me all the time. He says, when you can't figure out what to do, it's time for a nap. And that has worked for me so many times I cannot tell you. I would say go to sleep would also work for that phrase. I cannot tell you how many times I have struggled with something and had a set of circumstances or a problem that I just couldn't solve. It just seemed like no answer was the right answer, or every answer that I had was a bad one. And I was left with trying to figure out, well, what's going to hurt worse or least, and try to go that way. And I've said, well, let me think about it. Let me sleep on it. And that's the old expression. Let me sleep on it. And when I got up in the morning, more often than not, while I've been asleep, my unconscious mind has been working on the problem, and I have ended up figuring it out. And so, something will come to me, and it'll, and I've done the same thing in the afternoon sometime. Come in trying to figure something out, sit down in my easy chair, and if you've got a good easy chair, you know how it just sucks the life right out of you. And the next thing I know, I'm waking up from a little nap I never intended to take. And maybe I've got a fresh outlook on the problem. But I know you can't always do that. If you're at work, a lot of your bosses are going to frown on you taking a nap whenever you got something you can't figure out. But maybe just a little reflection. Maybe just get off by yourself, and just take a break just for a minute and run it around in your brain, or think about something else. And let that unconscious part of your brain that's so good at working out problems, let it figure it out for you. Steve is a very reflective guy. He sits and thinks a lot. You wouldn't think that to look at him. He's not a great conversationalist, and he doesn't share a lot of this wisdom with me that he has. He's just giving me these tidbits. And I'm hoping someday down the road, Steve will think I'm worthy to know the rest of the story, as they say, some of these. Okay, well, that covers a couple of excerpts from the book of Sloth Wisdom for today. Hope everybody is having a fantastic time. This is a really nice Sunday afternoon. It's temperature in the 60s, and haven't had the V-Star here in North Carolina in a while, so it's really good to have her back up here around her hometown. I'm sure she appreciates it. I know I do. I really enjoy it. Seems like I'm up here on the Spider more than anything else. But anyway, hope everybody has a great day. As for Steve and I, adios.